Why do people fall in love? Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why someone is strangely drawn to you, so deeply, so inexplicably, as if an invisible force is silently guiding them toward you? Is it your personality, your appearance, or your presence that captivates them? Or is there something deeper behind this attraction, a silent operation of the inner world? Carl Jung, the great thinker of depth psychology, did not see love as a mere coincidence. According to him, people fall in love with you for two fundamental reasons, both rooted not on the surface, but in the deepest layers of the human soul. In this video, we'll step into the mystical and sharp insights Jung left behind. Projection, the unconscious archetypes of anima and animus, and the true reason someone is drawn to you. Not because of who you are on the outside, but because you represent something within them. We'll journey through the invisible pathways where emotions arise, where attraction is woven from unnamed desires, unhealed wounds, and forgotten fragments of the soul we've yet to recognize. Love, as we often imagine, seems like a sudden gust of wind. But in the eyes of Carl Jung, even the lightning strike of infatuation follows a sacred order, a silent design of the soul, gently drawing us toward one person and away from another. The first reason: you embody what they are missing. Carl Jung called this phenomenon projection. In the depths of the human psyche, each of us carries within a reservoir of incomplete images, parts of ourselves that have been rejected, forgotten, or never fully lived. They don't disappear. They lie dormant beneath the dust of time, waiting for a chance to be named, often through the presence of another person. And then one day, you appear. Not as a random individual, but as a living mirror, reflecting a part of their soul longing to awaken. Attraction in that moment is no longer about looks or words. It's a profound resonance between unconscious layers. They see in you something they've never allowed themselves to be. You are a symbol, a vivid image of a possibility their soul once lost. Imagine someone who has spent their life in restraint, hiding their emotions, fearing the judgment of others. When they meet someone authentic, expressive, unapologetically radiant, something within them stirs. It's not just admiration, it's a calling from a part of their soul that's been asleep. You become the missing piece in their journey of consciousness. Not because of who you are, but because you've touched something they never dared to become. That attraction is real, but it doesn't arise from you. It arises from a silent conversation between their soul and the unlived part of themselves. The second reason: you awaken an archetypal image in their soul. Carl Jung delved deeper into the unconscious with two central concepts: anima and animus. He believed that within every man lies an unconscious image of the feminine, the anima, and within every woman, an unconscious image of the masculine, the animus. These are not merely products of personal preference or socially constructed gender roles. They are archetypal figures shaped by early childhood experiences, especially the relationship with one's mother or father, and forged in the deeper layers of culture, mythology, and the collective unconscious. They function like spiritual blueprints imprinted in the psyche, silently shaping our emotions, desires, and sense of attraction. We grow up carrying that blueprint without even realizing it. And then one day, a moment arrives. We meet someone, not by chance, but as if the universe had orchestrated it. They don't have to do anything extraordinary. Their mere presence is enough to awaken a sacred image within us. The feeling is so intense that we might think we've known them before, from a distant past life or from a sacred place memory can't reach. We call it fated love or soulmate connection. But in Jung's view, it's not fate. It's the unconscious responding to its own inner design, one that the other person, mysteriously, has come to embody. You become a living symbol of a sacred archetype they've carried within for a long time. It has nothing to do with physical resemblance. It's a resonance of essence, of something deep, unnamed yet undeniable. And because you have unknowingly touched the living myth within them, they fall in love with you. Not for who you are on the surface, but because in you, they rediscover a lost part of their inner world. But what happens when you no longer fit the image the other person unconsciously projected onto you? That's when the illusion begins to dissolve. The fog of idealization slowly fades, revealing the fragments of unmet expectations. What was once seen as perfection now gives way to differences, friction, and the quiet accumulation of disappointment. The love that once felt so intense becomes chaotic. Not because the feelings have faded, but because they were built upon a fictional image, not the real, living person standing before them. This is the common tragedy of relationships that once felt like destiny. They don't fall apart due to a lack of compatibility, but because throughout the entire journey, the two people never truly saw each other. Only the reflections of their own unconscious projected onto the other. They didn't love the other as a complex, evolving human being, but as a symbol shaped by their psyche, a character in an unnamed psychological play. But no one can live forever as a symbol, and when the curtain falls and the roles dissolve, what remains is not a myth or a fantasy, but a human being, raw, real, unvarnished. And yet Carl Jung did not see such breakups as failures. On the contrary, he saw them as an essential stage in the soul's transformation. To Jung, love is not merely an emotion, it is a catalyst for inner growth. Every person we've ever loved is a mirror, reflecting a part of ourselves that is incomplete, misunderstood, or unlived. Some come to awaken dormant potentials. Others unearth wounds we've buried beneath silence. Some simply confront us with our own limitations, emptiness, or unshaped desires. But all, whether fleeting or profound, serve a singular purpose: the journey toward becoming whole. Because the other person is never just a separate individual, they are a symbol, a turning point, a whisper from the depths of your unconscious, reminding you of what must be remembered, learned, or released. Some people come to awaken the light within you. Others, whether by chance or design, stir the darkness, and some relationships exist solely to serve as a mirror, to show you who you are, in wholeness or distortion, depending on whether you're ready to face your inner truth. Not every connection is meant to last forever. Some are meant to unlock, to shake, to lead you back home. Jung called these meaningful coincidences, encounters that defy logic, yet carry within them the secret order of the soul. So why do people fall in love with you? Perhaps because you reflect what they lack, a forgotten piece of their inner world. Or maybe you awaken a sacred image they've long carried in their unconscious, an ancient archetype lying dormant in the depths of their psyche. Whatever the reason, that love is not merely a fleeting emotion. It is an essential part of the soul's journey toward wholeness. And if you are not conscious of this, you may find yourself caught in a cycle, repeating the same kind of love, the same familiar pain, the same faces with different names, but all carrying the same unconscious imprint. You might think you're unlucky in love, but in truth, your unconscious is patiently offering the same lesson, one you have not yet been ready to learn. So what's the solution? Jung answers simply: awareness. When you begin to see the patterns of projection, when you recognize the inner images and unconscious symbols shaping your life, you no longer wander in search of someone to complete you. You begin to return home, to complete yourself. From that place, love is no longer built on illusion. It is no longer a thirst for validation or a fear of abandonment. It becomes a free meeting of two souls who know who they are. Because in the end, the deepest love is not about finding the perfect person. It is about awakening the part of yourself that was once forgotten. You don't just love the other person. You love the version of yourself they unknowingly awaken. A part of you long asleep, waiting to be lived, understood, and embraced. In the end, love isn't a quest for something outside of us, but a mirror reflecting the depths within. Every person we meet brings a message, sometimes gentle, sometimes fierce, but all of them point us toward the same destination: returning to ourselves. And when you truly return to that authentic self, love is no longer something to chase or cling to. It becomes a natural state, peaceful, grounded, and present. You no longer love out of lack, but out of wholeness. Remember Jung's words: true love is the journey back to the self. And if you're in the middle of that journey, be patient, because every encounter, every wound, every stirring of emotion has its reason. If these reflections spoke to you, consider subscribing to Mind and Meaning. To continue walking with us on this path of soul discovery, meaning, and transformation. And if you know someone who's searching for answers in their relationships, share this video with them, as a small light in the midst of a winding journey. Thank you for listening. We'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue to uncover the delicate depths of the human mind.